Hi, Bill Henshaw here again, Constitutional Coop Headquarters, and I've got more videos on current events. This one has to do with a lot of BS that's currently going on in the mandatory public education system, and this is in elementary schools for crying out loud. My goodness, even first and second graders. We've had teachers suspended. I know one in Virginia, and I think one somewhere else, because they refused to use the students' preferred pronoun for their sexuality. In other words, if a boy wants to be called a girl, that's what you do. She, not he. What the hell is this in first and second grade? Maybe even fifth and sixth, but my God, you walk into one of their damn courts and everybody out there instinctively knows this. They find you incompetent to represent yourself. You need somebody to help you do it. You're not able to do it. And that's what they think we all are, mental incompetence or wards of the state. That's the net effect of the ratification, quote unquote, with RAT in capital letters, of the non existent 14th War Amendment. Transferred all the, sovereignty to the government and changed our relationship, the lawful de jure, just sanguinis free white state citizens, from principal and agent to guardian and ward, or more precisely put, master and slave. And it's for that reason, by the way, the recent declaration of Juneteenth as a holiday did not strike a responsive chord with me. Even if that were true on June 18th, 1865, it didn't last hardly 3 years later when the slaves again became slaves, only this time the purported purpose of the 14th Amendment was to make us all equal, ostensibly by elevating the freedmen to our level, which could not possibly have happened then. And if that was the real motive, I don't even think a northern state would have voted for it. But to make us all equal by bringing us down to their level. That's what's going on with that amendment. No one who ratified it knew about that. They didn't have any way to ratify the amendment anyway. It would have had to been done by we, the people, not the legislatures, our agents. It doesn't work that way if you're going to increase the sovereign body politic of the nation and republic. That's a little off track here. But that said, that's the reason that every time you walk into one of the courts, you're incompetent unless or until a quote unquote judge, aka black robe bastard, aka very likely a Jesuit priest, finds you competent, which isn't going to happen. So if that's true, how in the world, a person in second grade, can you be competent to know who the hell you are in a sexual sense, and that God, planted you in the wrong body? It just doesn't work that way. And it gets even worse. Now I hear also at the same time they're showing cartoon videos, of cartoon characters playing with themselves and being sexual and this, that, and the other in the same first and second grades. Now, I thought when I was growing up, that was the parents' responsibility to handle that part of your life, especially in elementary school. That they're doing this now and just setting the stage to brainwash these kids right from day one, virtually, so they have no hope of gaining any sense of competency or no hope of learning anything about the real history of our Constitution and laws of the United States, let alone American history, which can be very ugly in some ways, and more so than you would think, especially when you get around to the areas of war, which we won't go into in this video. But if you know the truth behind all of it, all of a sudden, a lot of what's going on now makes sense, because that's all these New York bastard bankers want, is a martial law government, so that they can continue to trade in their paper money and take out silver and gold coin from the treasury. That's a hell of a business to be in. So again, I've gotten off track here a little bit, but just thinking about this, and then the fact, by the way, when you do get into 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, they don't teach Jack Taco, about any of the subjects they need to be doing. And in fact, for me, a kind of amusing thing, when I had my 7-month vacation in that South Carolina jail cell in 2016, God, 5 years, I can't believe it's been that long. That would have been my 50th high school reunion, and I had wanted to attend, hoping that my high school history teacher slash football coach, he did more than one thing in that era, would have showed up, and I would have said, "Hey, Vince, you missed a few things." He would have got the joke. Unfortunately, I didn't know at that time he had passed away a couple of years prior, so he wouldn't have been there. And of course, I wasn't there because I was in that South Carolina jail cell. But that said, they just don't teach anything. They don't want you to know. All I heard about Roger Brooke-Taney, big old racist Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, is all he said in Scott v. Sanford, that infamous Dred Scott case, was that the black man had no rights, the white man was bound to respect. And that's there verbatim. But you never get the context he said it in, which is talking about colonial times before the Constitution and the United States of America. Wholly different story, and they made the right decision, by the way, in Dred Scott, no question about it. It is what it is. We're the critical race here. Without us, we don't have a constitution, we don't have a nation republic, we got nothing. And think about this: if you're like me and one of these white racist types, would you even consider for a second immigrating to a place like Beijing, Pyongyang, or places like that, Cairo, whatever, and claim to be, for example, an American Chinese or an American Gook or an American African, and expect to be accepted into those societies as a full member of the sovereign body politic? It doesn't work that way. And for the same way, by the way, also, what I preach is not anti-Semitic either. To you, those of you who think otherwise, fine. You show me under your laws in the state of Israel where a Shekets or a Shiksa would even be allowed to immigrate there, let alone become a full citizen and have a right to any position in the Israeli Knesset or the Israeli Supreme Court or whatever. You show it to me. I'd love to see it. It's not how it works there. It isn't how it works here either. Unless or until the Constitution is amended in conformance with that document, not in contravention of it. Simple. They would have taught me that in 10th grade and right outside of Washington, D.C., wouldn't you know, at the time. My life would have been a whole lot different, a hell of a lot earlier. As they say, better late than never. I've still got, with family genes and history, a good 8 to 10 years here, maybe a little more, to give them as much hell as I can, to teach as many of you out there how to do what it is I do. And while we're talking about that, send me an email for information on my document packets, modestly priced. You can learn all of this. It'll take some time and effort on your part. Not the 10,000 hours I spent in those musty old stacks of law books in the law libraries, but you can do it. Send me an email, unincourt@gmail.com, and I'll get the information out to you and some bonus documents you can read to get you up to speed. It's a whole new world out there that they don't want you to know about. But the more of us that do, and the more of us that put it to the test, and the more of us that stand together across the board here, Americans, Africans, Asians, and cut out this divide and conquer BS, the quicker we get these bastards off our backs. And with an unprecedented opportunity in the U.S. Supreme Court right now, as I've talked about on earlier videos, with the term just coming to a close and some decisions coming up on Decision Monday here. But I think for the first time, this court's ready to do its job in 150 years to say what the law is. And they know as well as I do, they have the sworn duty to do that. Comes out of a case where they admitted as much in 1802 that Marbury v. Madison, 1 Cranch 137. That's their damn job. They haven't been doing it. If they start to do it, and the signs are that they actually are going to do it, wow, that is unprecedented. We have a real shot at it here, people, to get our nation and republic back. It won't be perfect. It never was. But at least we can start from a point where we can change things consistent with the Constitution and make it better for all of us. If that's the legacy I'll leave, I'll be very proud of the decades of work I put in here. That said, send me information on my work at unincourt@gmail.com. Subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. The quicker we all start doing this across the board, all of us, Asians, Africans, Americans, the quicker we get these bastards off our back. Thank you.